Hi guys, welcome back to another week on my channel. Um, Before we get too much into, you probably saw the title, I have a problem. I do have a problem. But before we get into that, I'm gonna catch you up with what I've done so far because we are still talking about makeup. This is a personal problem, but it's a makeup related problem. So far I have the Believe Beauty. Oh, let me back up. Gotta do primer first. So I did a hydrating mask this morning, and then I did this Smashbox Photo Finish Radiance Primer. It has hyaluronic acid in it. This week's the first week I've used this. At first, I thought I didn't like it because it looked really weird by itself on the skin, but I actually really like how it looks layered, and it's super tacky, and the foundation sticks great to it. I think it's been making it last a lot longer. So check this out. I mean, Smashbox has a ton of different primers, but this one is called Radiance. And then on top of that, with my NYX Beauty Blender, I put on the Believe Beauty Foundation in shade Nude. Then after that, I set everything with my trusty Kokie powder. This is in Translucent Extra Coverage is the name of the shade. Then oh man, I'm really out of order. I apologize. Before I said it all, I did the Tarte Shape Tape Contour Concealer. I have a little BB one right here, and this is in shade Fair Neutral, so I just did a little under the eyes, and then I set it with that Kokie powder. And then I contoured with my JS3 brush. And I went in with the Ciate London Bamboo Bronzer in shade Palm Island. That's the one you may have seen in one of my previous videos that I am just about out of this. So I'm going to have to probably find a replacement. I may just use, I really liked it in my 10 and under video. If you haven't seen that, I'll link it down below. But I forgot how much I liked this LA Colors bronzer in shade Glowing. It's obviously very well loved and used. I mean, like, pretty sure the cap, yeah, the top is like completely broken off, but I'll probably use that next, partially just because it's in rough shape and needs used up, so I can get rid of that plastic container, but because my favorite Ciate London is just about gone. And then on top of that, with my Luxie 504 large angled brush, I put on my Ulta Beauty Paradise Blush Foundation. I have also hit pan on that guy, so I've probably got another good week or two on this before I'm going to have to go to something else, but I literally feel like I have more blushes than anything else in my entire collection, so not too concerned. Then I went in with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Finish Setting Spray. Again, that's in my 10 and under video. And then what did I do? Used, instead of the large angled brush that I do my blush with, I actually did a different brush today for my highlighter, and I used the JS4 brush. I like this a lot more. I get more control. I may be switching my routine. And I used the Ofra highlighter in Rodeo Drive, and I put that on this part of my face and a little bit on my nose and my upper lip, because it looks kind of weird now because I don't have a lip on yet, but it will look better. And then I've also been really into, I don't know if you can see here, highlighting my collarbone a little bit. So I took that same Ofra on my collarbone down here. So I'm feeling very fall vibes today. I got this new top. There is a new retail clothing store that opened up in my town a couple weeks ago, and so I was really liking this dark kind of plum color, but it's got like these gold flecks in it, and it's just making me feel ready for fall. So, and the weather, it's just been really nice, great for walks, and I'm rambling. So the last thing I did was brows, and I used my City Color Bold Brow. I dropped it and it's cracked, and I'm so sad because I'm still trying to like salvage it and use it, but it's like bits and pieces laying in here like rip, but we don't want to be wasteful, so I'm still doing my best to use it. Used that with my trusty Avon eyeliner brush, the angled end. I like to fill in my brows with that. And then I don't think I've talked about this before, but a lot of times when I know I'm going to need my brows to last for a long time, I'll use an eyebrow gel, I should say, in order to get them to stay where I want them. Sometimes, especially on the end here, I have some stubborn brow hairs that just want to flip up and go wild. And I've used this for years. This is the Cella Eyebrow Defining Gel. It's clear. It's just got a little wand at the end, like a little spoolie with the clear gel that I just like to run through my brows. And I kind of brush them upwards instead of just angled and out. I think it kind of makes the hairs look more obvious, but I'm kind of liking that lately where you can tell that there's like eyebrow hairs and not just like drawn on eyebrows. I think it looks a little bit more natural. And then to finish up with, I used my also trusty Ulta Beauty matte eye primer in shade Nude. This is getting down to it, so I probably only have a couple weeks of that left, but I already know from my 10 and under video, I still have my nice little painter pot here of my Avon eyeshadow primer base. So that's probably what I'll switch to in the future. So now we're on to my problem, okay? So tell me if you have this problem too, and what is your solution? So especially now that I've been making all of these videos, it just seems like there's always something new, always. And so I know some of these items you've seen today are ones that I've used before in videos, but I don't want you guys to get bored seeing the same things over and over either. But my problem is that I'm literally becoming like an eyeshadow-aholic with all the palettes I'm buying. And I just like truly will not be able to use all of them. I can't. Like in today's video, I'm using one I've never used before. This has been out for I think like 2 years now. But I bought it because it was on sale. And this is the Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe. And it's just because like I at heart am a shopaholic too. I'm like this with clothes too. But if there's a good sale, I can't pass it up, whether I need the eyeshadow or not. Are you any of you guys like that? And do you just say, meh, I don't care, I just let myself have that vice? Or do you kind of like force yourself to lay off for a while? Because like with this palette, it's normally $38. I mean, it has a ton of shades. I'll show you guys in a minute here. But Morphe was running a 20% off sale, and of course, Ulta carries a lot of Morphe's products, so I also had a 20% off coupon for Ulta, so I got the 20% off on the sale, and then they let me use the other coupon of 20% off on top of that, and I had Ulta points saved up, so I spent $20 on this palette, which I'm like, $20 for the Jaclyn Hill palette, like, that's been something I've been interested in for a really long time. I just didn't feel like I could justify spending $38 on it, so why not when it's cheap? But I also feel like that's a bit of a problem because you say it's only $20, but then pretty soon you have 4 things that are only $20, and it's not only $20 anymore, is it now? So that is my current problem dilemma is I have like probably another 2 palettes I haven't even shown you guys yet that I have bought, and there's just always something new that I'm like, ooh, that one, like right now, I haven't purchased it yet, but I am really, really obsessed with Lunar Beauty's new holiday collection palette. That is Manny MUA's brand. And he just came out with a moon spell book, and it literally just looks like a spell book, and all the shades are pop culture iconic witches' names. I'm like, oh, I want this, but also I don't want to pay that much. And, you know, friends my age are not being the best influences because they're like, oh, there's Afterpay now where you can make 4 installments of, $10, so it's not as expensive. And I'm like, you guys aren't helping me here. So what do you guys think? I know some people have way more expensive hobbies like cars or scuba diving or whatever that they just drop $300 on a part or on an excursion or whatever. I don't go anywhere, so I don't know. It's just me wrestling with myself, I guess. So if you care, go ahead and give me your opinion on the topic in the comments. Or even if it's not makeup, do you have like a thing that you just kind of have, I don't want to say an obsession with, but like you really don't need more, but you just keep collecting them no matter what? Let me know in the comments down below. So back to the palette that we're looking at today. This is the Jaclyn Hill palette. And the only thing so far, I haven't used it yet, but I took it out of the package and looked at it, that I don't like is the fact that all of the shade names are on the back. They're not in the actual pans, which I don't like because, I mean, either have to point to it to let you know what the shade is or flip it over. I actually ended up, I know this is lame of me, but I took a picture of it on my phone. That way I can kind of reference the shade name to tell you guys without flipping it over every single time. But oh my gosh. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 freaking shades in this. So that's what, in my mind, I was like, $20 for that many shades. Like, how do you pass that up? So there is no mirror in this one, which I will say, the Jeffree Star collab, not only was it cheaper, because that at full price is $35, I think, so it's not that much cheaper. What is that, like $3 difference? But that one has a huge, huge, huge mirror in it, and Jaclyn's has no mirror at all. 3, 4, 5. I'm trying to remember how many shades that one had. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So Jeffree's has 30 shades. So Jaclyn's does have more shades in it, but it doesn't have a mirror. I will say, though, I think the pan sizes as well on Jaclyn's are bigger. If you kind of compare here, here's Jaclyn's, and here's Jeffree's. So the pan sizes are a little bit better, or not better, sorry, bigger. And the palette itself, if you compare the two, I mean, that's probably for that extra 5 shades that Jaclyn's has, is why it's a little bit bigger, if I had to guess. But I just thought that was interesting. Jeffree's are the only Morphe eyeshadows I've ever used before, so I'm curious to see how Jaclyn's are, because I know Jeffree said a lot of the stuff in his were allegedly going to be the same formula. It was just going to be distributed through Morphe, so it was more affordable. So we will see about that, y'all. I'm not going to do too wild of a look. There's some beautiful, beautiful bright colors down in this corner here, these blues and these purples. I really want to play with this so badly, but I do have to go to something for work later, and I don't want it to be too crazy because I have to wear a uniform, and the colors are red and black and white, and I don't know. I just don't want it to clash too much. So I'm going to keep it a little more neutral, and I think it's the sound. It's a little protector. I always keep those protectors. Do you guys just throw them away when you get a new palette, or do you keep them? So I always like tuck them back in, and I even like put them in, like this came in a box, and this, I'll like put it back in this and this, like I'm shipping it or something. I don't know why I do that, but I do. So I'm going to take my Ulta Beauty eyeshadow brush. I put on that primer a hot minute ago, so I'm just going to take my finger and make sure it's not settling into the creases too much, because that'll show up if you put shadow right on over that. And I'm going to go into this palette, and I'm going to pick something neutral that looks like a matte and not a shimmer to set this with. Let's see, is this shimmery? Not too much. It might have a little shimmer, but I think it'll work. So I'm going to go in this very top shade. This is called Enlight. So I'm going to take that on this brush and just pack it all over the lid. So now I'm going to add something into the crease, and I am going to use, I think this shade right here. These top 3 rows all look really wearable for everyday use, but I think I'm going to use this third one in here. That's shade name Pooter. Real attractive, Jaclyn. But I'm going to take that on my Vasanti Contour Eyeshadow 4 and just put that right here for my next step. So I did watch some reviews on this palette before I used it just because I was trying to see what the inside looked like and whether they're actually colors I thought I would use or not before I purchased it. But a lot of the people that I watched kept saying over and over, like, a little bit goes a long way, and I would definitely agree with that. I'm like barely putting my brush in, and there's so much coming off on the brush, not like in a fallout way, but just like it not only blends very evenly, but you just need a little bit and then it just spreads out. The pigment is great, so you don't need to build and 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 build like the next one that I talked to you guys about last week. Speaking of, if you want to see me use that NYX Happy Birthday palette in my Instagram recreation, I will link that video below as well. So next, I'm going to go back in with the Ulta Beauty eyeshadow brush here. Wow, I just knocked you guys over. Sorry about that. I'm ready to have my bigger space for filming in my camera, but I'm going to start moving next Wednesday. Like, I will start physically actually moving. I've been planning on it for a while, but that's when I'll actually have access to the properties, start moving my belongings there. And I'm so excited to not just be like in the spare bedroom anymore and have an actual room for this, but just bear with me. It's probably going to take me a while to set up the room once I get there as well, but it's going to come together. But I'm going to go ahead and darken up the outer corner now, and I'm going to use this shimmer right here in the third row, third one in, and that is called Hillster. So again, I'm just going to take a little bit. I'm not really going to V out the corner. I know I've done that in a couple of videos before, but I'm just going to start here and darken out the corner, stopping at the edge of my eye, blending it up into the crease color. And I'm going to leave it kind of messy right now because I'm going to go back in with my handy Sigma brush that I always use for blending later. So I'm not too worried about it right now. It looks kind of messy, but makeup's just really messy. Like, if you've done your makeup before, you know, makeup is just plain messy. Like, there's no getting around it. It's kind of like cooking, what people say about cooking a good meal. Like, you're going to be messy while you do it. You just are. Got a little bit of fallout here. I'm going to go in with my Morphe Jeffree Star JS2 brush and just wipe. Ooh, maybe we're not going to wipe. See, maybe this would have been one of those days when it would have been good for baking. There's a trick, you know, if you put powder here, it'll kind of wipe away. I'm going to dunk. I have some powder here and see if that helps it go away. Not really. I'm not going to worry about it too much for now. I may have to go back in with my sponge later, but there might be more fallout, so I'm going to pause here for a minute before I go to the next color and put a little bit of powder under here in case any more falls down. Okay, so I was able to get that spot with my beauty blender. I just took the end and kind of worked it with, it was still a little damp and had a little foundation concealer stuff on it out. And then I took my Kokie powder and just made a little bit of a layer here under my eyes in case there's any more that comes out. Just beware of that. This might be one of those palettes where you want to do your eye makeup first and then your face. I really don't like doing that. I just do the baking thing. That was my fault. I have never used this palette before, so it's always a possibility. And then I am going to take on my finger, it is on the second row on the end, this color right here. Look how pigmented it is. Oh, hold up, you can't see with my light doing funky stuff. Let me see if I can get it here. There you go, you can kind of see on my finger there a little bit more the gold color. The name of that is Queen. So I'm just going to take that. It looks very pigmented. And I'm just going to, with my fingertip, put that on the corner up to the crease for the rest of my lid. And I might even have enough on my finger here to do both eyes because it's just that much came off just from one little swirl, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. Yeah, that's plenty for both eyes. That came off just with that one swipe. And like, there's still a ton on my finger. That's crazy. In fact, I think I'm going to take a little bit that's left and go under the eye right here just so I'm not wasting it. I like that a lot. And then I'm going to take the shade next to the one I started with. It's called Beam. It's this one right here. I'm going to use that for the inner corner and for the brow bone. Somehow I got this black shade on my hand. Don't know how that happened. Before I do that, though, I think I'm going to go back in with the shade I darkened up the outside with and just go a little bit underneath. And that's using that same Ulta eyeshadow brush. And then I'm going to take the brown that I put in the transition shade, put it on the inner portion of my lower half of my eye. Blend it out, give it a little more smoky look. Take my Sigma brush, blend out this bit. I seriously think that's some of the easiest blending I've ever done in my life. Like, I didn't have to work at all. It just did it itself. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of amazed. I shouldn't be amazed, but compared to some of the other stuff I have, sometimes I'm like, you can get the job done with drugstore, and you can, but sometimes I'm like, you know what, this mid to higher range stuff, I mean, you can get the job done with drugstore, but sometimes they do just genuinely perform higher. They just do. Which does not help my problem at all, you guys, because then I want more. Okay, so I shouldn't have used that same brush to do my inner corner there because I got a little bit of the brown. So I'm going to take my Beauty Blender again and basically do the trick I did before and wipe off the powder. Okay, so that wasn't a total lost cause, but you definitely got to be careful with this one, guys, because with me using that same brush, I mean, it was me being dumb. I tried to use the same brush that I darkened this up with, totally kind of forgot, just was using the same brush and should have taken a clean one, got that darker shade all like right here, which just like accentuated shadows and things that I have slightly. So, and it was not repairable. Like I had to go back in from foundation and do foundation concealer, powder, fix the blood. Like I ruined my work, but I did salvage it. It just took a lot of zhuzhing to get it back to where it should be. So be careful when you use this. So here's my eyes up close. I still need to do a tad more blending, but I'm just trying to go quick here. So I'll take a minute off camera and fix that. And then I'm also going to put on my Ico London Black Magic Liquid Eyeliner and Wide Lash in shade Carbon Black. And then I'm going to end with my Tarte Man Eater Voluptuous Mascara, and that is also black. I'm debating about lashes. I don't know. I'm looking at the time. I have to be at my thing in like 45 minutes. I could do lashes. I just don't know how extra I feel like being, so I don't know. I'm going to do the first two steps I just told you and figure it out. Okay, so as always, I kind of went there and took it over the top a little bit. I tend to do that. Sorry. But after I did the liner and mascara, I did decide to go ahead and put falsies on. I've never used this pair, and I keep looking at them, trying to decide if I like them or not. These are not natural ones. Like, let me get up close for you to see from this angle. Like, they are full. They are like a lot. I don't know. I like how full they make my eyelashes look, but they just kind of might look like too clearly fake. I don't know. I can't tell you. Obviously, this is what I'm wearing out today, so I guess people will either compliment them or usually never. People don't tell me like, oh, what's going on there? Usually it's just either I get compliments or people say nothing. Pretty much the only time I've had anybody say anything negative, quote unquote, was somebody literally said I was wearing like a purple lipstick. Somebody was like, why are your lips purple? I was like, it's called lipstick. Guess you're not into it. But whatever. I'm still gonna wear it because I like that shade. But I used these Ardell double up lashes. These I got on clearance at Sally's. And they are 208, I guess, is the style of the lash, and they're black. And I used my Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive. I like this kind. It has aloe in it to try to help you not strip your lashes, literally, when you take them off. And for my lips, I haven't used this much, but I really like this pairing of lip stuff I put on today. So maybe I'll be using this combo more in the future. But I have this little sharpenable pencil that I used. This is Makeup Forever's Artist Color Pencil. This is a multi-usage matte pencil. It says you can use it on the eyes or on the lips, and it's in shade 606 Wherever Walnut. And then on top of that, I used Nude Sticks lip and cheek pencil in shade Mystic. Anybody have a good tip for a good sharpener? Because like my regular, this is way too thick for like my pencil or eyeliner sharpener to handle, and I cannot get a really good tip like when I first got it, because it's sharpenable, but cannot get it to work with me. So if you have a good idea of like a thicker sharpener, let me know in the comments, because I love this shade, but I just never use it because it's such a pain now that I've gotten past that initial point that it came with when I got it. But here is the final look. Hopefully I'm not looking too crazy. It's always hard because things look good on film, like in camera light settings, but then sometimes it's like a little like too much when you go out into the actual sunlight. I know I've seen some people, once they have cameras, kind of show like what it's like in their studio, beauty room, whatever lighting, and then they'll go show what it's like in the natural light. Once I have something more portable camera format, I would definitely like to do that for you guys so you can see like the real true tea of what it looks like and not just the studio lighting. But honestly, a lot of you that subscribe see me in real life, so you'll see anyway. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please share, subscribe, and have an awesome, awesome rest of your day. Bye.